Hey you guys, welcome back to my butterfly garden. We are definitely going to talk about what I learned in the webinar. It's not a whole lot, but it's good information. And I like the person that was giving it because I trust his judgment. He is very much an authority on butterflies in Florida, and his name is Jarrett Daniels. He's written several books, which I think I have most of his books. Anyway, but before we do that, there are some caterpillars that need some attention, and there's a red trash can back there to remind you to tap the like button. I want to show you the coolest thing. So I haven't found any moths yet from my little spanworm guys. The white-tipped black moth. But the caterpillars are not all here, as many as there were. So I was getting a little concerned. So what I did was I took a chopstick, and it's got like a what do you want to say, like a stained covering, so the finish is real smooth. And I swirled it around in the soil I put below just to see, and I found a cocoon. So let me show you. It's right here. There. Isn't it pretty? Look how shiny it is. Oh my goodness. So I was thrilled to find this because I was getting a little worried. So yay. I can't wait till one of them ecloses. Okay, I put it back down in the soil, but I left it showing a little so I can check on it. I was just looking around. I found another one right there. It's like panning for gold. Like you just drag the little chopstick around. Just looking now, I know what I'm looking for. So I've got two. That's so cool. Look at these beautiful polydamas chrysalides. They both pupated on a stem of the wild lime. That thing there, it looks like a spider or something. That's just the last shedded exoskeleton of the caterpillar, little polydamas caterpillar. Usually it shakes off, but sometimes it sticks. They look like they have little faces to scare away predators. So anyway, I took the stem off, and I'm just going to hang it in there with a little mini clothespin so that the giant swallowtail caterpillars won't disturb these little polydamas. Look at this giant swallowtail. He is going to be a chrysalis soon. I just replenished the eastern black swallowtails. On the menu this morning is sweet fennel and zizia. I still have to gather a little bit more wild lime. Actually, I don't really need more, but I'm going to get some more anyway. And finally, all of the polydamas have gone off, so there's nobody on this cutting here. And then back here where I have my zebra longwings, there's another chrysalis of a polydamas hanging there. I'll have to take care of that and get the zebra longwings a fresh Maypop incense, passiflora incense stem. All right, everybody is all set for the moment. All right, now we're in the enclosure with the babies. You know who we're coming to because you hear my little giggle. Look! These are the little guys we brought in the last video. This is literally one day later, and look at them. But there's more. Wait, do you see? Look, you can see the shadow through. You see their little shadow through the leaf? And there's still some more eggs left. It looks like they're gonna be, see how dark they are? But look on the back of this leaf. Look at the little faces. I don't have enough pipeline for all these guys. We'll figure it out though. I have my phone a friend still. And then he's back here too. See if he's in there. There he is. My little spice-bush swallowtail caterpillar. Oh my gosh, so adorable. All right, we'll let you go back in your little fold. There you go. And I also have, let me see, there's some eggs in here. Yep, we have caterpillars. So I'll move these guys over when they get a little bit bigger. But there's a few giant swallowtail caterpillars on these wild lime cuttings. So there's all the babies. I want to show you this little collection of plants that I have. And then I'll tell you why they're here and what they're going to be doing. You know, my oldest daughter went to Wales to see my middle daughter graduate. And they flew out of Orlando. So their car is here. And we're going to take their car to them. And then they're going to leave from Orlando and go back home to Jacksonville. That way they don't have to come here, get their car, and go back. Okay, because you needed to know all of that. But I have like a bunch of native plants that I've grown from seed. And so I'm going to put that little collection of plants all grown by me, her mother, in the back of their car. And it's going to be there to go home with them. So it'll be like a little surprise for her. A car full of plants. I mean, isn't that a great surprise? I would love it if somebody filled my car with a bunch of plants. So anyway, that's what those are for. And I just think it's cool that I grew them all. And now she's going to put them in her garden. And, oh, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I also got her a native plant book, a native Florida plant book for identification, so she can look up the plants that I grew and, you know, see what they'll look like when they're full grown and their scientific name and fun information and stuff and things like that. Okay. Now let's talk monarchs. I've talked monarchs before a lot on my channel, but anytime I get new information, you know, I always share it. And in particular, monarch butterflies and OE, and the Florida population of monarch butterflies. So if you're not in Florida, you can still listen. This is not going to take long, and you might find it interesting anyway. This is the milkweed I prefer to use right here. It's Asclepias incarnata, or swamp milkweed. It is hard to find because big nurseries don't sell it. You have to find a local native nursery or figure out how to grow it on your own, which is not that easy to do. This is giant milkweed, another milkweed I have in my garden, but it is not native. And whether or not it has issues that impact OE and monarch butterflies hasn't really been studied. So it's really unknown whether or not this plant has a negative effect. But what we do know is that it doesn't spread. It's not invasive. This is balloon milkweed. And I have used this for years, y'all. I love this plant. It gets the most beautiful flowers. It's not flowering right now. Look, there's a caterpillar. So you can see that monarchs do lay eggs on it. The thing with this one is that, well, here it's an annual. Like these plants aren't perennial for me. They always live maybe 8 months and then they die. It's like, that's all we can do. But these seed pods, when they burst open, the seeds each have their own little floss and they can go flying and they can spread. They are not invasive, but they could be, and they're becoming more and more popular. This is also referred to as swan milkweed. So, and then there's tropical milkweed. And that's the one that has all the negative connotations attached to it, and I don't grow it. I used to use it. I started out using it when I didn't know what I didn't know. But am I going to tell you not to use it? No, but I'm not going to use it because my channel is public and I feel like I need to follow best practice. And since I have access to plenty of swamp milkweed at the nectary, and I finally know how to grow my own, it's not easy. I don't need tropical milkweed. Now, as far as the other two plants, we'll talk about them in a minute. Let me share what Jarrett Daniels had to say. I'm going to let you watch butterflies fly around while I talk. Okay. The word he said over and over again multiple times was, it's complicated. And even more so is nobody's really studied the Florida population of monarchs. But what he did emphasize is that if you are north of Lake Okeechobee, which I am, it's possible that I could have a combination here of Florida monarchs that just stay here and part of the migrating group. So that being said, if his recommendation was, if you're north of Lake Okeechobee, not to use tropical milkweed and stick with native only. If you're Okeechobee or south, that's where the year-round population is, and he didn't even say anything about using it or not, but there's so much of it down there, it's kind of like that's just is what it's gonna be. But north of Okeechobee, stick with native, and yes, plant it in your gardens. Plant it in your gardens. The more milkweeds that we can get out, the more spread out the butterflies are going to be. So they're not all going on the same plants, which makes it less likely for OE spores to build up. Now, I'm not going into what OE is and all of that right now. I'm assuming you know because you've watched my channel, and if you're new here, you'll get it. Or you can go find some of my older videos where I've talked about OE. I think I have one earlier this year. So that was really it. And again, he emphasized the fact that there's a lot of unknowns with the Florida monarchs, but that's the best path to take. I'll say it one more time. If you live north of Okeechobee, use native milkweed. Now, there's another native, Asclepias perennis, and that's the aquatic milkweed. I have some right behind me. This is it right here. He did recommend If you do want to use native milkweed and you're Okeechobee or south, use perennis. That's the ideal one for there, South Florida. And the reason is because it doesn't have a period of dormancy. It doesn't die back and come back. It's up year round. If you are Okeechobee and north, use Asclepias incarnata. You can use Asclepias perennis, the swamp milkweed. No, the aquatic milkweed. It's so confusing because one is swamp and one is aquatic. Swamp is incarnata, perennis is aquatic. If you use the aquatic milkweed, it's just recommended that you cut it back, because what happens is when the monarchs are migrating down to Mexico, if they swing through Florida and there's milkweed there, it can cause them to stop and stay and not go to Mexico. And then they'll get stuck here intermingling with monarchs that have a high concentration of OE spores, and then that can cause issues. I hope that makes sense. So I really found the webinar interesting, and what I'm going to do is, if you do want to learn more, I'm going to link it below in the description, so you can go down there and click on it and you can watch the whole thing. It is on YouTube, and the Florida Wildflower Foundation is the group that hosted the webinar. There are squirrels like right above my head. You can probably hear them in the background maybe, but this bald cypress tree gets these like nuts on it, the seed pods, and the squirrels love them. And they sit up in the tree and eat them, and they throw down the remnants, the crumbs, if you will. Every day I come out in my garden and look at my garden chairs. This is from those squirrels. And if we sit out here, like, they will peg us in the head with those things. And I swear they're throwing them hard on purpose. The little shells are just everywhere. They're all over everything. I come out and clean it off, and an hour or two later, it's all back again. And this stuff is sticky too. It will stick to you. It leaves like this sticky sap all over. It's all over the ground here too. Anyway, so if you heard those noises in the background, that was squirrels up in this tree. If they come lower, sometimes they'll come low and they'll be sitting there munching. If they come lower, I'll let you see them. But it's always this time of year when this tree gets the pods on it, we get bombarded by the little shell keys, what do you call it? By the shells, the bits and pieces they don't want. If you have any questions about the little chat we just had, just ask in the comments. But I really think if you watch the webinar, you'll get it. Okay, so what am I doing in response to what I learned? Because up till now, we really haven't had a good to-do, or this is best practice, from somebody who's knowledgeable in Florida, that was specifically defined. I mean, this is the best I've heard of somebody actually saying, and he did recommend not to use giant milkweed or balloon milkweed, and balloon in particular because the seeds can blow and scatter. So what am I gonna do? I love this giant milkweed. I mean, I love it. I love it as a gardener. I mean, look at the big leaves. It's just such an interesting plant. And I have 3 of them right here. And I'm not taking them out right now. But what I will say is that they are all right here in front of my massive amount of swamp milkweed And I have more swamp milkweed that we just planted over here a few videos ago. So being that I'm out here every day, you know, I can monitor, and if I find caterpillars on my giant milkweed, I can just move them to my swamp milkweed. I don't know. What do y'all think? The balloon milkweed, that's easy. I just won't grow anymore. I have that one plant, and you know, or if I do grow more, I'll just make sure. I mean, it's very, hang on. It's very evident where the seed pods are, so it'd be very easy to just remove them, and then it's a non-issue as far as spreading. And for the OE part, well, gosh, I don't even think, I mean, I think of anything, this is the one that completely dies and doesn't even live that long. I would think it would be the least likely to have spores build up on it, but that's just me. That's just me. All right, so what do you guys think? Look, there's a gorgeous monarch right there. Oh, look, there's the red trash can. In case you didn't like already, there's another chance to tap the like button. Oh my gosh, and look at this zinnia coming up here. So pretty. And look who just came to roost above my head. Looks like we're gonna be having more eggs. Okay, so I was out in the garden this morning, and I come out every morning and I take some pictures. I love photographing the butterflies on different flowers in my garden. I post all my pictures on Facebook, and my Facebook page is huge. It's like it's about to hit 26,000 followers, and they actually pay me. Like, I make the most money of all the social media. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Facebook by far, that's where I make the most money. Does it replace my teacher salary? Oh no, no. But it's where I make the most money. YouTube, I don't. I'm just here for you all. And I just hope that you like and subscribe, and that helps, and comment, that helps. But I do this because I want to just share the love of what this garden is for me. And if you have that kind of interest, then you can create a garden like this for you. And some of you have, and you love it, and I know it, and I love sharing this with you. So anyway, we're just here doing our thing. And anyway, what was I even talking about, y'all? I was out taking pictures this morning, and I got two really cool photos. One of a zebra longwing laying an egg right beside me on the Passiflora incense. And then, this is even more rare, I got a photo of a long-tailed skipper laying an egg on a butterfly piece. So I'm gonna put those up here because I want you to see them. They're so cool. And I don't know how many of you go over to Facebook and look at my photos I put there. I've been posting some in the community, but it's like, I get like 27 people like it. Like, so I don't even know. I don't know if you're all seeing them. I don't know. I don't know. But if you want to see them, go over there and follow my page, and you can see my photos. But if I have some that I think might be of interest to you, I'll put them in the video just like this too.